In this lesson for social studies, we will explore the Caribbean. Stay tuned. In this lesson, we will cover the following objectives. The first, we will examine the location of Trinidad and Tobago in relation to the Caribbean. Basically, we're going to look at Trinidad and Tobago in a map and the neighboring islands and its location in the Caribbean, where it is situated. We're going to look at the 13 independent islands on a map. We're going to look at a map of the Caribbean to identify or to find or to look at the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, the Windward and Leeward Islands, and the South and Central American region. Stay tuned. The Caribbean is that chain of islands which starts from Cuba, which is closest to North America, and ends with Trinidad and Tobago, where we live, which is closest to South America. When we talk about South America, we're talking about those Spanish nations such as Venezuela. Guyana is a part of that. Guyana is also part of the Caribbean, but is not associated with a South American or a Spanish state. We talk about islands, countries such as Suriname. We talk about Brazil, etc. All those countries are in South America. When we talk about North America, we're talking about the United States of America, and we're talking about Canada. Now we will look at the Caribbean on a map. And one thing I want you to remember is that we are dealing only with independent states. And if you remember, an independent state is one that has its own government and country flag. Here we have a map of the Caribbean and all those islands coming down. On the right hand side is the Caribbean chain. If you notice, at the very top you'll see the peak of Florida, which is North America. We will have the Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica and Panama area, that is Central America, that is to the left, and that is connecting South America, which consists of Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil and Guyana. Now Guyana is situated in South America, but Guyana is a Caribbean state. Okay, so the Caribbean islands is circled here, and that is where we will focus on. As you can see, Trinidad and Tobago is very small, but is completely bigger compared to some of the smaller islands. Trinidad and Tobago can be classed as one of the bigger Caribbean islands, but it's really small compared to Cuba, to the Dominican Republic and Jamaica. Now Puerto Rico is a country, a Spanish country that is in the Caribbean, but it is a state of the United States, right? It is considered a state of the America. So we don't consider it part of the Caribbean. Now if you look on your screen, you'll see a map of the Caribbean showing 13 independent states. So when we talk about independent states, as I said before, independent states are those countries that has their own flag, their own prime minister, their own president. Remember, in one of our social studies lessons, you will see that Trinidad and Tobago became an independent nation in August of 31st of August, right? We celebrate Independence Day at the 31st of August. By this, we have parades and fireworks. But the reason why we became independent is because we are no longer a colonial island under the British rule. Okay? So this was a bit of history here. So we're dealing with the 13 independent states, and as you can see on the map, it's located. The countries include Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados. I'm reading from Trinidad and Tobago, go up. Then we have St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica. Right at the bottom of Cuba and to the side of Haiti is Jamaica, and at the very top, closest to the America, to the United States of America, at the Florida peak, is the Bahamas. Okay, So this is the map showing a map of the Caribbean showing the 13 independent states. One of your assignment is to use the map provided on Google Classroom. You need to print it or trace it or draw it. If you want, you can color it, and you need to label all these independent states. So this will be a fun exercise. It is also important to notice that the two seas or oceans that bound in the Caribbean is the Caribbean Sea, which is between the area of South America and the Caribbean chain, and to the outside of the Caribbean chain, to the rest of the world, we have what is called the Atlantic Ocean. It is pointed out in the map for you. So have a look at that. So the two seas that are, or oceans that are bound in the Caribbean is the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. Now we look at Trinidad and Tobago in perspective to the Caribbean. And here I took a map from graphicmaps.com because it had all the key things that I wanted in a map. So now we will look at Trinidad and Tobago and the surrounding seas that surround Trinidad and Tobago. So to the north of Trinidad, which is the top, you have the Caribbean Sea. So when you go to Maracas Bay and you take a bathe, you are bathing in the Caribbean Sea. To the east of Trinidad, which is to your right, you have the Atlantic Ocean. Now the Atlantic Ocean is where you would go when we go to Manzanilla and Mayaro and Guayari. Those beaches are located on the Atlantic Ocean, so you are bathing in the Atlantic Ocean. When we go to the western area, so if we go and look at the temple by the sea in Waterloo, and we go to the Chagaramas area, and we go to the Pitch Lake, and the seas closest to that is the Gulf of Paria. Okay, so that is to your left. To your left or to your west of Trinidad is, based on this map, is the Gulf of Paria. At the very below, on the southern side of Trinidad, where we will find Moruga and Serpent's Mouth, and closer to where Los Heroes and those islands are, that particular sea is called Columbus Channel. So to the south of Trinidad, we have Columbus Channel. So we have at the very top the Caribbean Sea, to your right the Atlantic Ocean, to your left the Gulf of Paria, and to the bottom of Trinidad we have the Columbus Channel. On your slide on the screen now, we will explore the Windward and Leeward Islands. So the Leeward, the independent states, are those islands north of Dominica, including Dominica. Okay? So the Leeward states are Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, and Jamaica, and the Bahamas. So those are the Leeward states. The Leeward states are the upper part of the Caribbean chain. When we talk about the Windward Islands or the Windward Independent States, it is to the right, to the bottom of Dominica, go down. So we have St. Lucia, we have St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. Those are the Windward Islands, and those are the relatively smaller islands, or they are located directly at the bottom of the Caribbean chain. So when you want to separate the Windward and Leeward Islands on a map, the best thing is to do is to locate Dominica, and between Dominica and Martinique, that island right there at the bottom of Dominica, it's not named on the map because firstly it is not an independent state, it is still part of France. So the fact that you just locate Dominica and you draw a line, a curve or an arc to separate Dominica and the rest of the island, and you'll separate into the Leewards and the Windward Islands. Okay, so the upper part will be the Leeward Islands, and the bottom part of your separation will be the Windward Islands. Now we look at the Greater and Lesser Antilles. So the islands are divided into the Windward and Leeward Islands. Now they are subdivided or divided into the Greater and Lesser Antilles. And the Antillean Islands are divided into two smaller groupings, and this is the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. The Greater Antilles includes the larger islands of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Hispaniola, and subdivided into the nations of Dominican Republic and Haiti, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico. The Lesser Antilles contain the northerly Leeward Islands and southeasterly Western Islands, as well as the Leeward Antilles, just north of Venezuela. Okay? So we have countries such as Trinidad Tobago, Barbados, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, etc. are considered the Lesser Antilles. All those small islands are the Lesser Antilles. So a good way to remember this, all those big Caribbean islands such as Cuba, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and well, now they consider Puerto Rico are the Greater Antilles. So think greater and think bigger. So the bigger islands are the Greater Antilles, and all these little small islands ending with Trinidad and Tobago on the map is known as the Lesser Antilles. Okay, so the Lesser Antilles contains the northerly Leeward Islands and the southeasterly Windward Islands, as well as the Leeward Antilles just north of Venezuela. The Lucayan Archipelago, which consisting of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, and an archipelago is basically an island chain. The Caribbean in a whole is an archipelago. Okay? Through a part of the West Indies is generally not included among the Antillean states. So what is saying, the Greater Antilles are the big islands, the Lesser Antilles are the small islands, but Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos are not considered Antillean islands. So thank you for watching this video tutorial in exploring the Caribbean. I hope you attempt all the exercises that have been posted for you. It's fun exercises to draw and color maps and to label maps. Okay, we have a next lesson talking about maps, how to create a map, how to draw maps and what you have to put on a map, and I will attach it as well. So you'll have 2 lessons for social studies. Okay, and I want you to pause the video and make notes. I will make these slides available to you in PDF format so you can print them. That way you won't need to draw these maps. It will be easily saved. Okay, if you wish to print it, but I always prefer that you print it, cut the pictures out and write the notes. That way you learn more. So thank you for watching this video tutorial on the Caribbean.